10 cards that suck, but are actually kind of awesome. What do I mean by that? I am looking for cards that are silver tier or below, cards that you would not expect to be that good, but are actually kind of amazing. And the purpose of this video is mostly for Battle Royale. If you identify these cards and you're able to get them in your BR drafts and put them onto your team, I think that it could be the difference between you going 12-0 or you just being a fat piece of shit that goes, that wins 6 games and is bounced out immediately. So 10 cards that are way overlooked but can help you get to the promised land. Let's go ahead and get into it. The first guy up is going to kind of point to a trend in this video. It's the 78 overall Jonathan Villar. And the thing that I think people overlook the most is these toolsy, switch-hitting utility players. They can be massive for Battle Royale. Not only are they better hitters than they appear to be, they have speed, stuff like that, but they can also play almost anywhere on the field, which has a ton of value in Battle Royale, because a lot of times you're gonna end up with a team where you can't fill out a specific position. You end up having to pick a common player or something like that for that particular position, but maybe this guy can play that position and you have a replacement for him at his primary position, so you can end up filling out a solid team all the way around. So you're gonna see a lot of guys on this list like that, and to me, one of the best ones is this Jonathan Villar. First off, he's a switch hitter that is relatively balanced versus both sides, and he's often helped by inside edge. So he's 75-55 versus righties. I know that doesn't seem like it's a lot, but I promise you, especially if you play in a park that kind of caters to left-handed hitting, because most of the time you're going to be hitting lefty with this guy, a park like Shibe Park or something like that, you're going to be hitting a lot of homers with this card, even with 55 power, especially when he's playing up with an inside edge. So he's a really good hitter, and he's going to be one of the staples in your lineup, especially if you end up going bullpen heavy, which I think I'm starting to kind of lean towards that meta when it comes to BR drafting. And then defensively, his defense isn't great, but he does have that 77 reaction and 85 speed to fall back on, and then he also has that 91 stealing to go along with that speed, so that if you can get him on base, he's going to be a real problem for your opponent on the base pass. This is the perfect guy to draft in your BR draft and stick at the very top of your order, so that you have the platoon advantage no matter whether their common starting pitcher is a righty or a lefty. I love this guy in Battle Royale drafts. I don't think I've ever not taken him in a round. Next up, we have a card that's very similar to the Jonathan Villar from a hitting standpoint and a speed standpoint, but he's a little bit better defensively, but he has a little bit less utility than the Jonathan Villar card. And that is the Adalberto Mondesi. And this seems to be a card that everyone has kind of figured out that he's pretty meta in this game, because one, he has a terrific swing. He has that very compact swing that allows you to have huge timing windows and generates a lot of power. It's a very, very meta card. And, he's super fast. If you can get on base with him, he's going to give your opponent all kinds of problems on the base paths. He's also a switch hitter like the VR. A lot of similarities between them, so I don't have a lot to say about this card. And everyone has kind of figured out. I don't know if I would consider this card a card that sucks, but is actually awesome, because everybody's kind of figured out that he's actually kind of awesome. But if you haven't, this is a card that you have to pick up in Battle Royale, because he's just too good not to. Next, we have the 72 overall Mitch Garver, and the first time I saw this card after he got updated, I was like, what the fuck, man? This card is a Battle Royale king. This guy is the king of Battle Royale, because if you can get a 72 overall player in Battle Royale that has low 70s, like mid to low 60s power with decent vision, that plays catcher, that guy is a BR god. No matter what, he's always going to be a BR god, and he has been for me. Every single time I get this player, I pick him, because that gives you a high silver, low gold quality hitter for a bronze pick. And if you can get a guy that's that good with a bronze pick, you are going to be head and shoulders above your competition when it comes to filling out a balanced lineup that can be really, really competitive. Like, this guy is not a guy that you take and you're like, oh man, that sucks. I had to take a bronze hitter in my lineup and I'm gonna hit him 8th, just because it's a necessity. This is a guy that you're pumped about getting. Now, understand that his defense is pretty crappy, and that's why he's a 72 overall. But in my opinion, that doesn't really matter that much. I mean, like, yeah, maybe it will cost you one BR run over the course of the year where something stupid kind of happens and you're like, oh man. But I think it's more than worth it to give that up to get this guy's bat in your lineup as a 72 overall bronze. This guy's a stud, especially like right now he's playing up with inside edge. He has 87 contact with what is that, 82 power versus righties. I mean, come on. I mean, that guy is that's like diamond level hitting stats, you know what I mean? And he has 55 vision, and on All-Star, 55 vision is not bad. It's pretty good. So yeah, this guy's a stud. Take him every single bronze round that you have a chance to take him. Next up, we have the 79 overall Eduardo Escobar, and this is probably, I said the VR is probably the best guy that I tend to go after that would fit under this definition. This guy is probably my favorite because, once again, he's even more of a utility player than that VR is, because that VR can only play center field. This guy can play both corner outfield spots, and that has a lot of value. Play all over the infield. He can play his primary at third base. He's not that bad defensively. He's probably like a high bronze level defender. He doesn't have the speed that VR has, but in my opinion, he's a much better hitter. At least to me. Look at these stats that I have with this card in Battle Royale. I mean, he's been insane. 62 plate appearances, 5 home runs, 26 hits. He's hitting 426 with a 1,200 OPS. He's a monster for me. I mean, he's insane. He has good vision. He murders left-handed pitching, and he's very competent against right-handed pitching. What I tend to do in my Battle Royale drafts is I stock up on guys like this, guys like Mondesi, guys like VR, and then I go and I play at Shibe Park to where all I have to do is elevate a ball with them and it's gone. And then I stack up my bullpen with diamond pitchers that will suppress the home runs for my opponent, and it tends to work out. I have 5 BR runs this year. So yeah, this guy is a monster. Never pass up on him. Even if you have like a really good reliever in that round or a big power hitter like Chris Davis or something, don't pass up on Escobar because the switch hitting, the utility, it's just too valuable. Up next, we have the 75 overall Chris Taylor, and this is another card that at first glance you're like, man, he's right-handed, his hitting isn't anything to write home about. It's about like the Escobars, except he's a little worse against lefties. And he has like similar utility to the Escobar, and his defense isn't anything special. He has a little bit of speed, but he doesn't have a ton of stealing. Like, what's so special about this card? It's his swing. I don't understand what it is about this card, but especially when he's playing up like this with inside edge, something about this guy's swing, even when he's playing down with inside edge, if I make solid contact with the ball, you're going to get like a 110 exit velo on it. He hits the ball so damn hard for some reason. I don't understand it. He hits it harder than Mondesi. He hits it harder than a lot of diamond level power hitters he just hits it really hard. You're not going to have a giant PCI to work with. He's not a switch hitter, so that is going to bring him down a little bit. But if you can get your PCI to the ball, he also doesn't have great vision, so your PCI is going to be kind of small. But if you can get that PCI to the ball and get it anywhere around it, you're going to hit that ball really hard. You're going to generate a lot of home runs. Just look at these stats. In 41 plate appearances, a 512 batting average with a 1,500 OPS, that's insane. So yeah, this guy is a monster. Get him every single time. And the good thing about this card is that you can get him in, they have tiers within the tier rounds. So if you have a silver round, there will be like the really good silver rounds where you can get the Eduardo Escobar, and then the lower silver rounds where you can get a guy like Chris Taylor. If you're lucky enough to get Chris Taylor, pick him. Next up, we have the only non-live series card in this on this list, and that is the 78 overall Niko Goodrum. And I'm not quite as high on this card as I am some of the other switch hitting utility players that I've talked about, because this guy isn't quite as balanced as those cards are. He is much better versus righties than he is lefties, but there are ways to kind of get around that, if you know what I mean. First, stick him in your lineup and then put like a really good righty that murders left-handed pitching behind him so that it'll discourage your opponent from throwing a lefty at this guy. Because if you hit with this guy left-handed, he's going to be fantastic for you. 73 contact, 83 power. Once again, playing at Shibe Park or a stadium like that, you're going to hit a ton of home runs with this guy. He has some speed, doesn't have the stealing, but you're going to be able to stretch some doubles into triples, singles into doubles with this guy. He's not that great defensively, but he can play basically anywhere on the diamond except catcher or pitcher. So that has a lot of value too. Once again, a card that I very rarely pass up on in Battle Royale just because he has too much value. Like I said, I don't like him as much as Escobar or Villar or, you know, Mondesi, but I still think that this is a very, very good card that you can't really pass up on. So yeah. Okay, we're going to finish this off with some relief pitchers, and the first one is the 76 overall Oliver Perez. Now, typically, this isn't the type of card that I generally like because he doesn't have a changeup, he doesn't have a couple off-speed pitches to keep guys off balance, but this guy's a nightmare for left-handed hitters because of that really deceptive delivery and the fact that he has that really good sinker that has a lot of bite on it and that big, slow slider that can really just devastate lefties. This guy, for me, I think I've maybe given up like 2 hits all year to lefties with this guy. Now, against righties, he can struggle sometimes, but most of the time he can keep them in check as well because he has that very, very, very awkward, deceptive delivery that's very difficult to pick up, especially if you're playing in a stadium where you know, there's crowds kind of near where the batter's eye is. His delivery goes so far to the right that it kind of blends in with the crowd and it's very difficult to pick up the ball. So he also has good per nines to go along with it. His walk per nine isn't horrible. So sorry about that. So he's just a really good card all around. So yeah, pick up Oliver Perez in your bullpen, and I think you'll be pretty happy with the pickup. I felt like I needed to throw a bronze level reliever onto this list as well, and that guy for me is the 74 overall John Gant. One, he has a very deceptive delivery, in my opinion anyway, that's pretty difficult for me to pick up. Two, he has a ton of stamina for a reliever, so he'll be able to go an extra inning or two where other relievers would already be out of the game. He has fantastic per nines for a bronze. I mean, honestly, like, these are elite for a bronze level guy, especially when he's playing up. Right now he has 105 hit per nine with 84 K per nine. That's great. And then his stuff is amazing. He has 2 fastballs that he runs up into the mid-90s. He has a 79 mile an hour changeup that's very good delta. Between that, he has a big loopy curveball and then a nice little sweeping slider to go along with it. Good card all around. I think if you pick this card up into your bullpen, he'll be a nice like 3rd or 4th guy to go to, and it's tough to get that kind of guy in a bronze level round. And then finally, the last guy that we're going to talk about in this video is Diego Castillo. And this card, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this card because it's almost impossible to strike guys out with this card, especially left-handed hitters. I can sometimes get righties with his slider or his cutter. He actually throws his slider harder than he throws his cutter, which is very strange. Against lefties, I can't strike guys out, but what I can do is I can generate weak contact very, very, very consistently. And this guy has great per nines. He's going to shrink PCIs pretty good. He has phenomenal stuff. The only problem is the pitch selection. Man, if they gave this guy a changeup, it would be over. This would be one of the best relievers in the game. Him being a silver be damned. But he doesn't. He throws all of his pitches relatively hard. But all of them are pretty good. I just wish that he had one like really slow all-speed pitch just to keep the hitters off balance. But you will be generating a lot of weak contact. I think that this guy is a great number 2 to have in your bullpen if you already have like a diamond level number 1 like Billy Wagner or something like that. I think that this is a really good guy to pair with someone like that. So yeah, that is going to do it for this video. Let me know if you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, and I might do another one of these. I ended up, when I ended up making this video, I ended up with like over 30 players that I thought fit this description, and I just ended up going and picking the 10 that I thought were maybe the best, or not even the best, but the most notable. And so if you guys want to see me do this again, let me know in the comments, and I will. This is going to kind of kick off my top 10 lists for this year. That's something I do every year. And, you know, I'll probably keep doing those for the rest of the year. You know, top 10 positional players, top 10 other things, whatever. But, yeah, we're going to start doing those very soon. So let me know if you're excited about that. And, yeah, I love you guys. I will see you guys later. But until then, peace.